Welcome to the first lesson. And in this lesson, we're going to see how to define your ICP. And this is very, very important. And you may think, like, what is the ICP? The ICP stands for Ideal Customer Profile. And you may see in the previous lessons how to filter the ICP, how to find the ICP, how to define it, but I want to give you a sales definition of ICP, right? This is very important. The ICP is the person that, first of all, needs the most your product, right? Needs the most your product. Second, is kind of aware of the problem that he has. And third, can afford to pay your service, right? So these three key conditions. So, first of all, biggest pain point. So he has the biggest pain point or biggest reward because maybe they have a clear pain point that is basically maybe they're spending like 60 hours a week in order to recruit some new HVAC expert. That is a company that is spending a lot of time to find people to work for HVAC companies or air conditioning company in the United States, and they know that they have a pain point, and every time they are not able to recruit an HVAC expert, basically they lose customer because they cannot take new customers, right? So they have a clear pain point in HR, or can be the biggest reward. What does it mean? That maybe they don't have like this huge problem because maybe they're happy they found their system, they can hire new HVAC expert like every week, decently reliably, so the pain point is not like huge, but you magically can help them with a tool with AI of reducing 90% of the time to dedicate to HR. Oh my God. So the biggest reward is this, right? So it's very crucial to think that the pain sells 2 times faster and better than pleasure. What does it mean? It means that if you resolve a problem that they are aware of that is very painful for them, is extremely good, but it's also important to think about a potential reward, right? Doing things with less time, less money, faster, better, in an easier way, less complexity, more reliability, like whatever it is, right? So consider this, but always consider that roughly the pain sells 2 times faster than the pleasure, right? So, and second, is about the awareness of problem. So, for example, let's do a case about coaching, right? Coaching for executives, and executives maybe have a huge pain point that is they cannot create long lasting relationships, and that's why they're not fulfilled, right? Is very common, by the way. A lot of executive, a lot of entrepreneurs master the game of business, master the game of managing people, managing money, managing system, creating new stuff, and it's amazing. But sometimes they don't pay attention enough time to other games of life. They're not being able to understand the limiting belief, the pattern that they're running from their childhood or maybe from past experiences, so maybe they are not very fulfilled in relationship, right? So now maybe the pain point is huge, but in order to sell them a solution, to help them with a solution that can maybe uncover all their limiting beliefs, the traumas, the like, there is a lot of stuff that can go on, let's say, and help them relieve that part. They need to have a little bit of awareness of the problem, just a smidge. Why, right? Why? Because I mean, you cannot go in an extremely very successful founder that is killing it in business, maybe have like Elon Musk, like very bad relationships, but he doesn't care, like care zero. And you start speaking to him, to her, to whatever, that their problem in the relationship is that the unconscious pattern of your grandma and blah 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 blah. It's not gonna work. Or the chances of working are very little, right? And of course, who do you want to be? You want to be the player or the casino? The casino, right? Why? Because the casino always wins, and you want to have the odds in your favor. So try to have and find people that have some kind of awareness of the problem. Now, I'm not saying sell only to the people that are actually looking for your solution. This can work, but usually it is like the 3%, the pyramid of Maslow, of product problem awareness is like this. We can see here. And you have the people that are aware of problem and solution. So they're aware that they have a problem and they are aware that there is a solution. So basically, they are Shopify. That's it. After that, you have people that are aware of problem. So they know that they have a problem, but they are not aware of the solution, right? And here you have people that are not aware of problem. Now, I'm making it extremely simplistic for you here because I don't want to overwhelm you. But think about this. You have people here that are not aware, even aware of their problem, right? There are people that know they have a problem, but they don't know what is the solution. You have people that know they have a problem, they know there is a solution, and they're just ready to be convinced, right? Now, if you want to do outreach in LinkedIn, my advice would be focus on these two people. Now, at the beginning, focus on this. And why I'm saying this. So the people that are aware of the problem and the solution. Why is it important? Because at the beginning, you need to discover a lot about who they are, what they do, what is the value proposition they are responding to. So that is a fancy word to say which problem they would like to have solved and in which way, right? So all these things, you have a little understanding at the beginning, and this understanding about them, about their problem, the way that we could sell them the solution to help them is growing over time, growing, right? So at the beginning, what you want is basically to find the people that know the problem, know the solution as much as possible, at least know that there is a solution or are looking for a solution, right? And just you arrive to them, and it's gonna be quicker, it's gonna be faster, right? So coming back here, so find the people with the biggest, most urgent, burning pain point, right? Second, awareness of problem. They need to have some kind of awareness that they have a problem. And three, have money to pay. Why this is important? So, in a past experience, we were helping people with a 9 to 5 job, so a normal employee, switch from a normal job to a freelancer career in the e-commerce space, right? In Italy, this was a lot of people want to have a new life, want to be free, want to work remotely, want to make better money because usually, like in Italy, also in Barcelona, but it's like 1,300, 1,500, 1,800 is like the maximum that usually an employee makes. Hey, like in 2025, if you're not living under like under the earth, you know that with that kind of money, it's not gonna be easy for a family or somebody that want to do something big, right? That's what it is. So we were all helping them, and at the beginning, we were selling to everybody to see who responds better, right? And what we realized is that a lot of women in Italy, women that were staying at home moms, they have like a very interesting pain point. They know about the problem and that they know about the solution. But, but, but a lot of them didn't have the money to pay. Why? Because maybe they are stay-at-home moms and the husband is taking care of them, or maybe because they just separated from a relationship and like a lot of things, right? And we realize that for us, in order to help them, will be extremely, extremely difficult compared to other niches. Why? Because they can afford few $100 worth of investing, but our course will cost to us at least 1,000. So we were losing money, right? It's unfortunate, but like we are here to help people, and if we cannot help them, like we are not a no profit. We need to find people that can afford it. Otherwise, we cannot do our best, right? So we decide to switch from stay-at-home moms, right? That was an interesting niche, but he didn't have the money to pay to 9 to 5 dads from 25 to 45 that usually they are combined, like usually they are in the same family home. And what does it mean is that we are targeting people that have the biggest pain point. I'm going to make you an example in order to understand how these three are connected. They have the biggest pain point. And what is the biggest pain point? Because for them, 25 to 45 is the usually the age where their kids are growing, where he promised the family a lot of things and now things are not happening. So they're not going to vacation as much as they want, maybe never. He cannot give them the gift that he wants, and he also especially is not spending time with them, right? What is the biggest like fear that this dad has? Then maybe the wife will leave him and will go with another man, and his dad, his son, his daughter will call dad this other man. Oh my gosh, I will die to think about this, right? For every man, but even for every mom, it's very hard to think about this. But this is actually what they were telling us. It's not us making it a fake story. This like, hey, I'm scared that my wife is gonna leave me because even if I bring money home, like I'm never at home. One of them told me, I'm seeing my kids growing horizontally. Like what I mean by that, like which kind of animal you have as a kid? Like what is happening? He told me no, because I leave at 7 a.m. and they are in bed. I come back at 10, 11 p.m. and they are in bed. So basically, I'm measuring them with a meter because I see the size in the bed, and I say, wow, 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 wow. So they have a huge pain point. They know that the problem exists. Why they know that the problem exists? Because like everybody's telling them, you're working too much, you're never here, they are never happy. Also, they don't feel fulfilled with their lives. So they know they have a problem, and they know there is a kind of solution. Because like in 2025 usually is relatively easy to find a solution that works in internet. Maybe you don't believe it 100%, but you know that it exists, right? In the third part, they have money to pay. Now, this means two things. One, they have money to pay, means that they got like a salary, they have money aside, but also since they're having a 9 to 5 job, they are what's it called? They can ask for a loan, so they can get credit, right? And that usually with stay-at-home moms will not happen. So we realize that when these three stars are aligned, now you got a great ICP, right? And now you can start to build upon this ICP. Right now, this is a case study for B2C. This is B2C. If you are in B2B, it's the same thing. So the biggest pain point. Let's make an example, another example, in order to understand what I'm speaking about. So let's speak about our product. So LinkedIn Autopilot. So one of the best ICP we have, we don't have only one, but the best one we have right now is sales guys that work for a big, let's say, guru, a big personality like Tony Robbins, Patrick Bet David, Andy Elliott, like people like this. They have a huge brand and they need to produce a lot of appointments for their calendar, right? And usually, this type of sales guys does not have any inbound leads, right? And also, they are not only closers. They are like the what's called full stack sales guy, full stack closer. What does it mean? It means that basically they need to find their leads, they need to hunt and bring the prey home, like from the beginning to the end, right? And what is the biggest pain point is that they know that with the brand they have, they could reach a lot of people. But since they are full stack closer, they don't have enough time to do the first part, that is building the pipeline, right? So the pain point is that I know that these people will like to speak with me, but I don't have time, or maybe I don't have the skills to reach out to them, because when I bring them on a call, I know that I'm gonna close them, right? So the first part of the pipeline for them is one of the biggest pain point, right? So now the pain point is set here, and the second part is the awareness. They know they have a problem, right? Sometimes they don't know there is a solution. They heard about something, like some are more aware than the other, right? But since the pain point is so big, like the awareness of the solution is not a big problem, right? And we go to the third one, that is have money to pay. I mean, these are sales guys. Like, if you don't make money as a sales guy, it's your problem. I mean, it's probably you should change career, right? So they have money to pay, and also for them is a clear, direct return of investment. This is very important. Like, find people that can see the return of investment, right? Because they know that 5 extra appointment a week in their sales calendar that is showing up is maybe 1 to 2 deal close, and maybe it's 5 to 10 to 20 to 30K extra per month for them, right? So these are the three main things. And right now, I want you to just to give you a very brief explanation of other way to filter your ICP. You already spoke. You already see all the other parts of the course probably. But of course, you gotta consider the job title of the person you want to contact. You gotta consider the size of the company. Of course, you gotta consider the industry. You gotta consider the decision maker, like who is the decision maker that you want to target. So maybe you don't want to speak directly to the decision maker, but maybe you want to speak to somebody that is very close to them, right? And what else? What you can do is also filter by intent. This means that you can go maybe on LinkedIn and find only the people that commented in a specific type of post. Like, those posts got hundreds and thousands of comments. You can scrape them or check them manually and see who already has some kind of intent, right? And the intent can be done in many ways. We're not going to go deep in this, but basically means some kind of signal that they show it interest, right? Maybe they're hiring someone on LinkedIn, maybe they just raised money. Like, filter by intent and by signal. This is very, 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 very important. And the last thing I will say is that filter by activity. What does it mean? It means that a lot of people have LinkedIn, a lot of users, right? But most of them are treating LinkedIn like a CV, like they drop their stuff there and nobody log in again. That this happens all the time. So maybe you may find people that are really, really perfect for your case. CEOs of company from 20 to 100 employees in the HVAC niche, where the decision maker is the CEO, and they just hired, I don't know, a new CTO, and they raise money, right? But maybe they are not on active on LinkedIn, because maybe for this type of industry, LinkedIn is not used, right? So make sure that also you filter per activity. And what I mean by that they posted or commented in some places in the last 3 months. That's what we do, right? So we know that this guy is active. We cannot see the activity of logging in, but if they log in, usually they post or they comment. So check posting and commenting, right, as an activity. You can use a lot of scraper. You can use Apify. You can build your own scraper. You can use like many type of scrapers to check. Apify is one of the easiest, and check if they are active, right? Because it's not only about the job title, it's also about their behavior in terms of what is the signal, what is the intent, and what is the last activity, right? So for this part is everything. And again, I went very deep inside this part here about the biggest pain point, awareness of the problem, and have money to pay, because before you really ask the question, how many employees I want to target, like what is the decision maker, you gotta ask this question. So number one, who has the most burning urgent pain point? Like needs to be extremely clear. Or if they don't have a huge pain point, who can benefit the most from our solution? But remember, the pain sells double the pleasure. So if you can, target the pain or massive pleasure. Pain or massive pleasure, right? So first question is, who has the most urgent pain point, right? Second, who has some kind of awareness of the problem? Remember the example we did before about the executive that have maybe some internal psychological limiting belief about relationship, and maybe they're not having a fulfilling relationship for this reason. Like, you cannot just offer them and say, hey, how you doing, man? Like, I'm like to rewrite all your subconscious. Like, get off, man. Somebody like Elon Musk. So they need to show interest. At least they need to know about the problem, right? Because this is gonna be easy. The third part is that they have money to pay. And this is very important because sometimes you have people that are in pain, or you can help them a lot. They know the problem and they know about the solution, but unfortunately, at least in this stage, you cannot help them because they don't have enough money, right? And in this stage, we are here to make business, and business relies on money, is the fuel for every part of your company, to pay your employee, to pay your collaborators, to bring money home, to have better security, like everything. So since we are not in the no profit space, this is very important. If you have a no profit, this is not important for you, probably, right? And it's not that business is more important than a profit, but is that business is business and circulating around money. So this part is crucial. And when you make a lot of money, you can help them for free or at a discounted price, right? But if you want to do that, who is the donate money to no profit? The millionaires and billionaires, man. So you gotta make money to create no profit. You want to do good in the world, you gotta make a lot of money. Everybody agrees? Yes. So let's continue. And so yeah, and once you have this, you start asking these questions. You say, okay, good. Now that I know this, I start asking this question here. Like, what is the job title? What is the size of the company in terms of employee? What is the industry? What is the decision maker? How can I filter by intent or signal? Intent again means that they're showing a behavioral interest because they posted maybe a job post, or maybe they put like or comment, or they are following somebody that is in your space. Signal can be that they raised money, they're hired just a new CTO, they're fired a new CEO, like all the signals that show that may be interested. And the last part, filter by activity. Make sure that they're active on LinkedIn, right? But this comes after we ask the first three questions. So for filtering the ICP is everything. We see you in the next episode. Welcome to the next episode. Yeah, 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 yeah.